Michael Ferrara, DSPORT Magazine. Standing next to me, our editor-in-chief, Bassem Girgis. This is his baptism by nitro. We were here at the McLeod Top Fuel Funny Car booth, guest of Paul Lee. If you want to follow Paul, make sure you check out all these social media connections there to see what he's got going on. But Bassem, more importantly, you just got a taste of it. What do you think?
Well, these are happy tears to begin with. Mike told me a lot about what we're going to experience. I've been here for 10 minutes. I'm crying. I'm half deaf. And I have so many questions about these cars that I'm going to ask a little bit later. But as of right now, why am I crying?
Well, you know, we're sitting here and they just fired up this engine after rebuilding it quickly in between rounds. Now, what you got a taste of out here, that was just the engine on methanol. Okay. And that's pretty nasty, and that's what you'll find on the top alcohol dragsters out here. A lot of them, if they're still running the blowers, they're running on methanol. Yeah. But this is going to be running on the top fuel, and the top fuel, of course, is nitromethane, and that stuff is nasty. You're going to hear this engine not just fire up to life like it was there, being spitting stuff out. Then they're going to switch it over to nitromethane, and when that happens, it gets violent.
So I'm not just emotional. I'm excited to see it. Is it going to make me cry again?
Oh, it'll make you cry, and this time what you're gonna do is you're gonna feel it. You're gonna have that sound wave, that concussion wave go through you, and you'll get a taste of your baptism by nitro.
I'm looking forward to this baptism.
Just had your baptism by nitro. What do you think?
I have never felt that much impact. Standing over 100 feet away from the car, you feel it through your chest. It's way louder than anything you hear at an airport.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you've got two cars there, a combined total of about 25,000 horsepower, just coming right by you.
It's like tear gas. You feel, first of all, your ears, you have to kind of, the earplugs are not enough. You're tearing, your nose hurts, you're kind of running for safety. But I have a question. At this point, when you're running over 10,000 horsepower, right, does it really make that much of a difference when do you want to start adding more horsepower, or at this point, what else kind of management would you do to better your time?
Yeah, so with this style of racing, it's not so much making the horsepower, it's managing that horsepower and how you bring it to the ground. That's where the clutch is what it's all about. The top paid person on the team here, if it's not the clutch guy, don't let him know, but he's pretty much the most important guy. Because basically, unlike other clutches, they're setting up how hard that clutch is coming in and how hard it's actually applying the power to the vehicle. You can't apply more power than you have traction for. If you do, you spin the tires. And if you don't apply enough power, you're not going to go as fast as you can. So it's that balancing act. And we can take a look at some of the clutches and what they look like. It's pretty insane compared to what you put in your street car.
So you're mentioning clutch, but I talked to you the other day. There is no transmission on this car. There's no shifting.
Yeah, I mean,
what goes on there? How do you get the power to the
transmission? Lets you go in forward or reverse. That's about it. Right. All of the power is basically coming off the engine, going through that clutch system and going right into that rear end and driving the vehicle forward. And that's basically it. On a funny car like Paul Lee drives here. It's a bit more old school than a dragster. You're talking about having that engine in front of you instead of behind you. You've got a lot shorter wheelbase to deal with. You've got the aerodynamics of having a body on the car. This is a lot sketchier to drive than a top fuel dragster. So this is kind of, if you want to talk about the most dangerous vehicle to be in per mile, it's got to be this vehicle. Any of these top fuel funny cars, it's just insane. As we get a pair of the top fuel dragsters going on behind us.
These guys are building the engine between each run, right? What goes on inside the engine between each run? What are they doing? What happens inside there?
Okay, so what's happening inside the engine? They've got these giant magnetos in there that are making the spark that lets this nasty mixture of compressed nitromethane, methanol, and air get ignited off. But it's probably, that spark plug's probably working maybe the first second of that run, maybe second and a half. Then all of a sudden it turns into basically a glow plug. This thing is dieseling the rest of the way down there. And as it's doing it, it's cannibalizing itself. I mean, the pistons are consumables. All of the rod bearings are consumables. The rods are, you know, maybe worth a few types of runs, but that's it. I mean, they're really going through it. Basically, they'll use the block over again. They'll hone the cylinders. If they crack a cylinder, they got to replace that sleeve, put it all back together, and do it within usually about an hour to hour and a half window. And they're doing that all here behind us right now. They got a little bit of time because they finished qualifying for today. They'll have 2 more qualifiers tomorrow, and then it's eliminations on Sunday.
Which is the second build of the day. We've seen it already rebuild another one. It was a record time. It's quicker than I write a story for DSPORT. So you're gonna run 7 seconds in your car next. Are you ever gonna do this?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to run 7s. I'm going to try to run 7s.
It's the goal.
You know, we're talking about doing it in a street car. It's not. There's a lot more limitations than that, you know. And we've got a pretty far way to go. You know, to go from an 890 to a 790.
Yes.
That full second.
That's a full second.
It's pretty hard to overcome that. You know, we've got some ideas of what we can do to get the car to go quicker and faster, and we'll be doing that. But no, I have no plans to build a car that I'm going to be servicing the engine run after run. Short of teleportation, there's nothing else that's going to accelerate you from point A to point B that fast. So yeah, that's what it's all about.
So yeah, I mean, stay with us. We're going to build a time machine to try to outdo this.
I think that's what we'll need to do. But yeah, hang with us. Thank you guys so much for watching us. Make sure, if you haven't done it already, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, become whatever you got to do, all that crap. And our YouTube channel. So join us. We'll see you there.